gaming hot takes, okay? Then this time, these are my hot takes. I made a video ranking your guys' gaming hot takes and determining whether I agree with them. Do I think they're valid, or do I think they are just thinly veiled rage bait? And here's the truth. I'm gonna be honest with you. Y'all were way too respectful in that. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, y'all want a part two? Brother, I need some hotter takes. You guys, and listen, I love you guys. I do. Y'all had takes that were quite literally, hey, yo, bro, I think AAA gaming companies are greedy. There was one of those that literally said microtransactions are a bad thing. And respectfully, you sweet, sweet summer child, brother, let me hit you with some actual hot takes in this video. I also see this as a way of, hey, you guys gave me your hot takes. I roasted them a little bit or agreed with them. I'm going to give you my hot takes. And here's the difference, okay? I actually have to live with these, okay? I'm going to say these, and I'm probably going to get roasted for some of these, but I will defend these. I'm going to bring you my biggest gaming hot takes, borderline rage bait. And I'm going to try to defend it and argue my case in this video. This is also, I kind of want to do a debate video with a few of you guys. I don't know how we're going to arrange that up, but I think that'd be a kind of a fun thing to put in on like a Tuesday or a Thursday. We can start like debating TV shows, games, or just other stuff like that. So this is kind of my little introduction into that. And in this video, we're going to be going over gaming hot takes like Bethesda is a C-tier level developer at best. Mobile gaming is unironically has the most potential out of anything right now. And get good is perfectly reasonable when it comes to Elden Ring. We have a lot to talk about in this video, and before we get into, please consider a like, comment, and subscribe. We are trying to get to 300,000 subscribers before the end of the year, and I think that's possible, but it's only possible with the support of you guys. We get a lot of big stuff coming. I'm not even gonna lie, dude, okay? I don't want to overpromise, but we do got a lot coming to the channel. And with all that out of the way, let's get into the video. Let's go. Bethesda is a C-tier level developer at best. Let me argue my case right now. Let me cook on this one. Brother, Bethesda, outside of releasing Skyrim, they released Fallout 4. Well, but no, Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 3. Okay, fine, Fallout 3 is decent. No, they published Fallout New Vegas. They did not develop Fallout New Vegas. That was Obsidian, okay? Obsidian also went on to make Outer Worlds, okay? Obsidian's actually pretty salty at Bethesda because if you go down that rabbit hole, Bethesda did kind of do them a little bit dirty, if I'm being honest here. So when people glaze New Vegas, brother, unironically, that wasn't even made by Bethesda, and we're going to be going down a lot of stuff they get glazed for that they didn't even make, by the way. Skyrim, fair play. I think Skyrim is one of the single greatest games, one of the single most influential games ever made, ever. I love that game. It's a top 10 of all time. However, there comes a point where I cannot let you hold on to that and drag its name. Because I am telling you this right now, Skyrim would not be Skyrim would not be relevant in the modern day of gaming if it wasn't for the modding community. Bethesda wants to take, and here's the craziest part. Bethesda unironically wants to take, a full, responsibility of, well, it was us. It was us that made it, so you guys love it all the time. It's like, no, brother, the modding community did it, and you know this. You had the Creation Club. Also, Creation Club, unironically, is one of the smartest and greediest things I've ever seen a company do. They're over here like, bro, we have all this unpaid labor that's making our game amazing. Do you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna sell microtransactions to buy stuff from the unpaid labor. Brother, they are evil. But they're smart. I will give them respect on that. And then after Skyrim, Fallout 4. The only thing I'll give them respect for when it comes to Fallout 4 is that they showcased it and released it within the next couple of months. Other than that, no. I'm sorry. In the modern day of gaming, there is no reason why I should be entering into a building and there is a minute-long loading screen. This is absolutely inexcusable now. There is no excuse. I'm sorry. There were games on the PS4 that actually got rid of loading screens in its entirety, or at bare minimum, did a better job of hiding it. Stop doing this. Well, it's the Bethesda charm. Bro, stop giving them a pass. They do it because they know they can get away with it. No, there comes a point where it's like, well, the reason why we have loading screens is because we want to keep the Bethesda games feel. No! The reason why you have loading screens is you've been using the same game engine since Fallout 3. Brother, to give you a reference, Rockstar replaces their game Every single game. RDR2 is working with a different engine than what GTA 6 is. GTA 5 is working with a different engine than RDR2. They change it every single time. And guess what, bro? The reason that I'm comparing Rockstar to Bethesda is there was a time where Bethesda, Skyrim, and GTA 5, we were actually having the discussion between those two games in terms of how big they were. Here's the truth, dog. Bethesda, unironically, is literally the gaming developer's equivalent of the guy who peaked in high school after winning the national championship on football. I'm sorry, dog. There comes a point where you just have to make peace with yourself that the highlight of your entire career was, hey, yo, bro, I caught the game-winning touchdown, and I got some good toppy underneath the bleachers afterwards. That was your peak. What do you do now? McDanks. There ain't no disrespect coming from McDanks. That's all I'm saying. The point that I'm trying to make is Bethesda's over here talking about how they're like Michelangelo developing masterpieces. And I'm like, brother, Fallout 76 was barely working mess when you released it. And then after all that, you did Starfield and then blamed Xbox for the reason that it failed. When your own modding community said, we're not going to mod it if you're not even going to put effort into making it. And then now you're like, okay, we're going to release the Oblivion remake. Oh, and somebody's going to bring that up. What about the Oblivion remake? They didn't even develop it. They commissioned another company to make the Oblivion remake. They didn't even make it. Okay, well, what about Bethesda? The only reason Bethesda was actually given any amount of grace, and when I was doing the worst gaming developers and publishers, is I give Bethesda grace with some of the cool stuff that they publish. Yes, id Software cooks. And that's another thing, brother. id Software is hard carrying Bethesda as a publisher, and it's not even close, bro. It's not even close. Is this a hot take? Honestly, bro, I think it's a warm take. I think it's warm. I don't think it's that hot. You could disagree with me in the comment section, but I'm telling you, brother, modern Bethesda is a C-tier level developer. It's all hype, almost zero substance now. I'm sorry, bro, it's outdated game design. Get good or go extinct. There's no other way to say it, dude. I don't know what to tell you. Warm take. I'm going to put it right there. Gaming's journalists are just bad. Okay, let me give you this take. Let me explain this to you. I think gaming's journalists sign when they're reporting on objective information in the industry. Like, is Xbox getting rid of another 9,000 employees? Where are the layoffs occurring? What is going on in gaming development right now? What are the new technologies going into gaming? Unironically, the thing that gaming's journalists mess up the most, or I just don't really give them credit on, is when they give their opinion on video games. People talk about, well, we're gaming's journalists versus YouTubers, and they want to play this game like one of them is better than the other. No, brother, they are quite literally equal. Oh, well, YouTubers can have their own agenda. Brother, IGN goes so far in the people pleaser mode that they'll be like 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, and then they'll give Veilguard a 9, by the way. They gave Veilguard a 9. I rest my case. And here's the craziest part. I'll say that. The argument against that will be, oh, well, IGN didn't say that. A reviewer for them did. Oh, what do you mean? Brother, IGN literally saw that review and was like, yeah, bro, I 100% agree with that. Yeah, we're going to publish that right away. Yes, no, but you got to take responsibility for your horrific takes. I understand that. I've said this multiple times. There's great games that I just don't like. But here's the truth, dog. I'll give my take, and I'll understand that my take's not for everybody. It's my take. I don't like, and this is where I might ruffle some feathers. IGN does not have an opinion on games that I treasure more than literally any other person. I don't look to IGN. I don't look to Metacritic. I don't look to any of them to have an opinion that I'm like, oh yeah, I consider that more than the average person. Unless they have user reviews. I trust user reviews more than I trust a gaming journalist reviewing a game. Because here's the truth. You can like a game, I just won't like it. What is your point of reference in reviewing this game that makes you the objective voice? Brother, it's literally a subjective thing. I love Elden Ring. There's people that dislike it. There comes a point where I'm not going to argue. I'm arguing it in favor of people that think the same as me. Well, brother, I'm sorry. It is so weird. And also, I'm sorry, even when you're looking at... people don't roast IGN enough for their takes on, pop culture. I remember they gave Invincible, I think it was Invincible Season 3, the finale, they gave it a 4 out of 10. Literally, I think it was a 9 out of 10. It was, it considered one of the greatest episodes of the entire series. They thought it was barely watchable. IGN said that. Yeah, dog, when I look at game as journalists, I literally think to myself, brother, you're just a bunch of guys that came together and you guys send one dude to review and be like, hey, yo, this is the objective. No, it's not. I unironically trust Moist Critical than I do IGN. Why? Because it's one individual giving a take and not a conglomerate. I will trust the individual because I trust the average gamer, what their take is on a game, as opposed to a massive company. That is my take on it, bro. I'm looking at IGN. This is a hot take. I already know people are gonna think it's hot, but I'm sorry. I'm putting it right there. I am gonna put it right there. Nintendo fans are the Disney adults of gaming. I'm gonna go a bit farther than this. I think Nintendo's literally just the Apple of gaming. And here's the truth. Here's the truth. There comes a point where I'm not even mad. I just expect it. Like, yeah, no. Nintendo walking into a hospital and making the people who, I think it was like, they put Mario on a mural and they sent people in to paint over it. Yeah, there comes a point where I hear that and I'm like, brother, okay, yeah, Nintendo's just literally evil. And then here's the craziest part. I'll bring up this stuff and this will unironically be the take that they come in. Oh, well, PlayStation's done the same thing. Yeah, and we call out PlayStation. Oh, well, Xbox done the same thing. Yeah, and we call out Xbox. Well, I mean, what's your point? Nintendo fans are literally to the point where, like, Nintendo will legitimately do something that's just just bad. Literally just bad. And they'll be like, oh, well, what about this? The argument against pointing out what Nintendo has done is literally just a whataboutism. It is not introducing a new point. It is literally like, well, don't get mad at Nintendo. PlayStation does that. Yes, I get mad at PlayStation too. I don't know why you have like this, like literally this absurd one-sided relationship because they give you Mario Kart for $90. That was another one, bro. I remember people were legitimately like, yeah, I don't like that they're doing $90 for these games. Well, then don't buy it. Yeah, that's what people are gonna do. I don't know why you're getting to a point of like corporate silling that I legitimately think you're taking money from Nintendo. And I'm not even angry at you for that. I just want you to be a little bit more honest because you're accusing me of having what is it? It's a favoritism towards PlayStation, even though I've said multiple times I hate PlayStation. I have something against Nintendo. Brother, no, I just don't like corporations. It literally is that simple if I'm being honest here. Nintendo gets away with a lot of just objectively bad like practices. It's literally the Apple of gaming, dog. It quite literally is. You can point out all the problems with Apple. People are going to be like, yeah, I don't really care. I'm just going to get an Apple thing. And the truth is, dude, there comes a certain point where like I'm not going to get that on you. But like Nintendo, I never want to hear a Nintendo adult critique anything in video games because I'm going to be like, Nintendo raised the prices and you took it like a good boy. Nintendo did that for a charity gaming event and you said, thank you, Papa. Nintendo's trying to take down Palworld because they made a pretty popular Pokemon adjacent game and you're clapping. You're clapping for that. Brother, uttering your opinion like it matters is absolutely insane when I realize the level of hypocrisy that you're arguing from. Brother, no, you can like Nintendo, and that's the craziest part. They conflate it with like, oh, well, that means I can't like Nintendo games. No, they make good stuff. You can call out the fact that like Nintendo's literally just cartoonishly evil, and then continue your day. Like there comes a point where it gets so crazy where this is what will happen. There'll be a new Donkey Kong Bonanza, and then Palworld will say that they're going to try to copyright the idea of capturing entities and making them face other entities. A copyright... they're copyrighting a video game mechanic, by the way, which is objectively just bad. And then they'll be like, Donkey Kong Bonanza is one of the greatest games ever made. Nintendo did a really great job in making this. And then when it comes to Palworld, literally crickets. I don't want to talk about that. Don't you ever criticize PlayStation or Xbox ever again, dude. Oh my gosh, that's insane. Oh, well, that's crazy. I actually heard the take that, like, well, Nintendo's always been greedy. Then why are you glazing them so hard? Like, that's the craziest part, dude. Like, yeah, no, I think PlayStation makes good stuff. I also think that they're very, very lazy and they understand that they don't really compete with anybody, and I call them out rightfully so. But, bro, I'm sorry. I know Nintendo fans are gonna be spicy about it, but at the same time, dog, I think that, yeah, it's spicy. I really do. Yeah, 100. It's a spicy take, but like, some of y'all need to hear that. Fortnite's unironically one of the games of all time. I don't know if I want to say best, but when you look at the entirety of gaming, Fortnite unironically earns a spot. I don't know what spot you're going to give it. I don't know if it's a Mount Rushmore thing, because, like, I don't put it at the same level as, like, other games. But, like, dude, I'm sorry. Fortnite is approaching, like, literal Minecraft level of legacy. I think Minecraft's higher, because Minecraft existed before, and at this point, I think it's going to exist afterwards. But, like, Fortnite legitimately does deserve credit with the amount of time that they've been able to stably stay at the top, the amount that they've been able to innovate within their own game to the point that they've literally completely and utterly reinvented themselves into basically just a no-builds competitive game. And on top of all of that, Fortnite's still consistently top 3. It doesn't make sense. This is the point that I try to make. I'm not saying that, like forever glaze Fortnite. That's not what I'm saying. But, like, it's crazy that literally any other game wins best ongoing support when Fortnite unironically's managed to stay at the top for this long. Brother, when we say Fortnite fell off, it unironically is still above literally 99% of games out. It's crazy how much it's been able to stay. Now, I think it's done a lot of damage to the gaming industry, but I think it's done damage not from stuff that it did, but because of other companies trying to emulate what it did. And to be fair, that's like, I think Overwatch is a good game. I think Overwatch did literally irreparable damage to video games. I think gaming as a whole would be a better place if Overwatch never released. And you can make the same argument for Fortnite. Like, I can see that. But it's like same thing, like, bro, CSGO did a lot of damage to video games, but it innovated to a point where you kind of give it a pass. Fortnite's on that level, and I think Fortnite, honestly, is going to be one of the games of all time in terms of, like, notoriety. I'm going to put Fortnite, this should be a warm take. I don't know what you're disagreeing with. Mobile gaming is the biggest untapped market right now. Oh, 100%. Oh, bro. I want you to think about this right now. When I mean by mobile gaming, I'm not just talking about, like, on your phone, but, like, brother, how many of us were playing games on our phones and thinking that we were going to get to the point that we would be able to play, like, a full PS3 game on our iPhone? And here's the craziest part. Well, technologically, we're not there. We are. There are some PS4 games that you can fully play on your phone, but we're just not there. Brother, mobile gaming, I feel like, is just going to be one of the most, like, the last untapped markets in. Because we've gone basically throughout the entirety of console gaming. I think VR is going to be a bigger thing in the future. And I think mobile gaming is going to be really big. Whether that's going to be, like, it's going to become more portable, or it's going to go all the way back to mobile games are going to be making a comeback. I'm showing off Clash Royale because it's like, brother, the numbers on Clash Royale are so absurd that if you compared it to, like, other video games, like, on consoles, it would be able to be competitive. And you hear that and you're like, well, because it's a mobile game, like it's a casual thing. No, I mean, like, the amount of people that are unironically putting, like, hours of their day into Clash Royale, that amount of people is competitive with a large portion of gaming. There is clearly an audience. You can clearly do it. Brother, I remember a time where when a new game released, there was a companion app. I remember Dying Light had a companion app that if you took enough steps, you'd be able to unlock in-game gear. I remember that being a thing. Pokemon Go. Like, mobile gaming, I do believe, is one of the, like, biggest untapped markets currently there is. And part of it is because gamers look down on it. And I'm over here like, dog, the potential in mobile gaming is absolutely insane. Because iPhones are getting to a point where they are gaming PCs like 8 years ago. That's how powerful these things are. I'm putting this take, it's a cold take. It's a cold take, but people don't realize it. No, mobile gaming is most definitely gaming. It's just, it needs a little bit more development. Consoles are better than PC for the vast majority of people. And this is what I mean by this. You can rattle off stats that your PC has. It runs this game better. It runs this game better. Mods, Steam, all of that. And I 100% agree with you. The vast majority of people just should get a console. The plug-and-play ability of a PlayStation, an Xbox, a Nintendo Switch is literally unrivaled to the point that PC is a superior machine in literally every possible scenario. Graphically, fidelity, gameplay, frames per second, like the amount of games that you have, everything, it is superior. Consoles are just so much more convenient, and for the average person that's working a 9 to 5, they have to come back. They don't have to update their drivers. They just gotta wait for PlayStation to send a PlayStation update. You just have to make sure your controllers are charged. You don't have to do any soft updates. You don't have to do some problem solving to get this game to run on your rig. You don't have to fiddle in the settings, because most of the games that are made today in the AAA gaming scene are specifically made for consoles, and PC is an afterthought because of mods. All of this is really what I'm trying to say here. Consoles are superior to PC when it comes to the casual gaming area, and the problem is that is like 90% of people that play video games. So when people ask me PC or console, if you are not somebody that is literally putting hours upon hours in the games, and even then hours upon hours, even if you just want the convenience of stepping in and you don't care that you're not going to get like 120 frames per second, the truth is, dude, I would literally just make you get a console. I think this is a spicy take because PC guys are gonna be in here and be like, well, it's better than this. The point I'm trying to make is not that you're wrong in saying that, and not that your PC is not better, that you probably spent $3,000 on, by the way. That's not the point I'm trying to make. The point that I'm trying to make is, for the average person, console is better, and it's not even close, dude. I'm sorry. Spicy take, but I think it's valid. Xbox is the worst of the big three. I'm talking of all time. I'm not lying. Brother, I'll say this right now. This is my caveat. Xbox had one of the greatest runs in the history of gaming in the 360 era. But I don't even think the 360 era is the best console run of all time. I might do a consoles tier list eventually, just ranking them all. But here's the truth. You had the Gears of War trilogy, you had the Halo trilogy, and then you had a bunch of other Xbox stuff that was going on at that same time where they legitimately revolutionized gaming. Brother, I'm sorry, those Xbox Live, game parties, oh my goodness, those cooked so hard. And they were innovating. The Xbox Connect, they were legitimately doing stuff that was like, wow, that's kind of crazy. But this is what happened. Xbox 360 was leading so hard during that era that when they went into the PS4 era, PS4 absolutely decimated and became the best generation of PlayStations. Now, I think the 360 era is better than the PS4 era. But I'm sorry, the PS4 beat the Xbox One, and the PS4 and PS5 both won. And at that point, it clowns on Xbox. Nintendo's off doing their own thing. The Wii is probably the greatest console to ever be released, if we're being honest here. And the truth is, bro, if you're taking all that, Xbox isn't even Xbox is the worst out of the big three. They quite literally are. Your argument has to be, oh, well, it's a superior machine. What good is that if you don't have games? Well, they do have games. Not anymore. Brother, they're giving their IP over to PlayStation because there are so few people with an Xbox that'll buy those games that they can't take a risk and develop these. The reason that you're not getting another Gears of War, the reason that you're not going to get another Halo, or the reason that you're not going to get any of these other games is because Xbox is so terrified that they aren't going to turn a profit that they're just porting it all over to PlayStation. That is really what happened. It's a hot take. Xbox is the worst out of the big three, and I'm taking that in its entirety, but I think it's a valid take. Single player versus multiplayer. Single player games are better than multiplayer games if you're taking them at a baseline, because multiplayer games literally hinge on the fact that you have to play with people. And this is the argument that I'm making. Well, it's fun when I play with my boys. Brother, I could give you a stick and a rock and you will have fun. That doesn't make the stick and the rock fun. That is such a lazy argument to be made. The fact that a single-player game can craft an experience that you can play and enjoy and actually spend an infinite amount of time on that game is way more masterful than any multiplayer experience. Now, are there good multiplayer experiences? 100%. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm trying to say is a great single-player game a good single-player game is a more well-crafted experience than any great multiplayer. Because most of the content, most of the joy that you're getting out of a multiplayer game is not something that was developed by the developer. It is something that was put there by the gamers in it. It was something that was put there by your friends. If you're having fun in a game playing with the boy, here would be the argument. What did you have more fun with? Playing Warzone or Fortnite by yourself, no mic, no nothing? Or playing through your favorite single-player game? What do you think is a more masterful experience? Single player will clear. I remember this debate coming over. It's like, well, what's better, multiplayer or single player? If you're talking for the entirety of gaming, the amount of money that multiplayer brings in is overall the biggest net positive there is. But single player games, dude, deserve their spot, and they are a more well-crafted and more masterful, piece, honestly, at this point, this piece of art than multiplayer. There's a reason why every single AAA gaming company wants to do a live service game, because it's low effort with a high ceiling. The reason that single player they don't, because they actually have to take time to make a great game. I'm putting this take, honestly, top of spicy. I think this is a top of spicy take. AAA gaming will have a bubble burst. It will completely collapse, and indie games will take over. No. I don't think that this one should be a hot take. I really don't think. And the next take after this, also really isn't a hot take, but it kind of plays into this point. Brother, AAA games are literally begging for prices to be raised, not because they're greedy. Well, they are greedy, but because they're not making a big enough profit margin, because they've been churning out slop for basically this entire generation. So they're getting to a point where they either have to increase the prices or cut most of their team. The reason that you're hearing about a lot of firings in the AAA gaming sphere is not just because they're cutting costs to make a profit. That's part of it. But it's because the games that they are making are not turning a big enough profit. Okay, that's part of the truth, dude. Ubisoft's development strategy is coming from a time where if you had more people working on the game, that meant that the game was going to be better. The fact is, bro, people talk about, it's like, well, games cost more than ever to make. Kind of. Not indie games. Indie games are actually, the tools that you need to make a good indie game now are more, they're more accessible than they ever have been. Whenever somebody brings that up, games are more expensive than ever to make, my very next argument is going to be, yeah, and the tools are more impressive than they ever have been. A large portion of gaming development is either completely automated, and you're talking about, it's not always completely automated, they need developers. Brother, these big gaming publishers are automating it regardless. They don't care. And here's the truth, dude. It's not a sustainable business model. They either have to change how they develop games entirely, or they have to cut costs in order to survive. Ubisoft is probably going to get bought and sold to Tencent. I think EA just got bought for $55 billion, which is insane. The fact is a lot of these big AAA gaming devs are either going to have to dissolve, or they're going to get bought by another company. And that will cause a collapse because there's too many of them. This is a warm take, but it should be a cold take. Game pricing is a scam. Yes! This is going into the last one, but I need to rant about this. Oh my goodness, I've been thinking this, and okay, we're gonna be crashing out here. Do you know what the argument for $70 games was? What do you think the argument was? The argument for $70 games is that they said not a lot of people are going to have a PS5, and it costs so much money to develop a game for the PS5 that we have to recoup our investment, so we're going to raise our prices to $70. That's all we had to do. We could actually raise it to $90. I remember when they said that. And we were okay with it, paying $70 for a new game. But you know what? You know what the kicker was? You found out that these games weren't actually next gen. They were current gen. This is what I mean. If your game is playable on the PS4, or it has a PS4 version, that game was a PS4 game that has a upgraded graphics mode. You are paying $10 for a performance mode, and for not even that, honestly. Brother, Elden Ring on the PS4 and Elden Ring on the PS5 are basically the same exact experience. For the vast majority of people, I would just argue stick with your PS4. And that is the reason why they've catered to the PS4 so hard, because they can just charge $70. And here, it gets even crazier than this. It gets even crazier. Because I can talk about how $70 games is a scam. If your game runs on a PS4, it should be $60 because it is a PS4 game, not a PS5 game. We can do that. No. This next thing started, it didn't start because of Nintendo, but most people understood it now because of Nintendo. Digital games need to be cheaper than physical. There is literally no logical reason why that's not the case. You are scammed into thinking that you were crazy for thinking that. Well, why would a digital game be cheaper than a physical game? Because digital games are literally just software. It is literally just a key that you're given to get into the game. Oh, well, that's what physical games are now. Yes! And they did that afterwards because they realized that you guys took it hook, line, and sinker. And here's the truth. There's literally no manufacturing cost that is on top of actually developing the game in gaming development. So when you're buying a physical game, it actually makes sense for you to pay the standard price because you're buying it because there was a development cost in making the case, making the disc, making the art, all of that. There's a physical thing that you have. Somebody had to make that. When you're looking at digital, it should be cheaper because you're getting less. You're paying the same amount of money. Well, it's for convenience. What do you mean? Actually, what do you mean? Convenience. You don't even own it. You're literally just leasing it out. That's what it is, by the way. They're trying to change that legally. I remember when California wanted to introduce a law that changed it when you go to Steam. Instead of buy, it says get. That's why Apple does it, by the way. But no, like the point that I'm trying to make here, bro, is that digital games should be cheaper because it costs less money to make them because you don't have to put in the construction cost of the actual materials. So that should be $10 cheaper. And you know how I know that's the case? Nintendo literally fucking did it. And here's the craziest part of the entire thing. They did that by raising the prices up, okay? They went from $70 to $80 base, okay? But then they said to get the digital, you can pay $70. Then why, for the entirety of the previous generation, was it a standard to do 70, and then the digital was also 70? You knew this entire time, and that's what you did. I'm sorry, bro. Pricing is a scam. This should be a ice-cold take, and we should all just understand that that's what that is. But for whatever reason, nobody brings it up. It's an ice-cold take, but oh my goodness, more people need to agree. Get good is perfectly valid. Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. You know, by the end, I'm already kind of fired up. Brother, I'm sorry. The Get Good community of Elden Ring, the only thing that I get on them on is when they start being so purist that they're like, okay, well, you can't use this, you can't use this, you can't use this, because then that makes the game easier. If there is a tool in the game, then you can use it. If there is an exploit in the game, then you can use it. The developer of Elden Ring quite literally said, when he made this game, he made it so you can use all the tools at your disposal, and he said Elden Ring's one of the easiest games because it has the most tools at your disposal and to beat the threat in front of you. That is the whole development philosophy behind Elden Ring. Okay, so I get on the Get Good people when they say that you can't do spirit summons and you can't use certain weapons. I get on them for that. But to the people that are like, oh well, I just can't get good. Is there a accessibility thing? Absolutely not. We absolutely should not cater to you. You are a tourist in this game. You are not owed to be good at this game. You are not owed to beat this game. You are not owed to enjoy this game. That has literally never been the case. Imagine if okay, and here's the craziest part. The next thing that's going to be said, oh, well, I mean, I feel like if I pay $60 for a game, I should be able to enjoy it. No. You paid $60 for a game, you should be able to participate in the game. You are not owed to beat it. You are not owed to enjoy yourself. You are not owed any of that. Oh, well, then why would I buy it? Don't buy it! Don't buy it then! Nobody told you, go get it! Nobody said that! Brother, anybody that told you that a From Software game was going to be easy straight up lied to you, and I feel sorry for you. Get your refund quick. You can get to market in literally 30 minutes. You'll realize real quick that this game isn't for you. Get your refund. I think they should actually do that. I think Elden Ring, honestly, should do a thing where if you can't beat the first boss for a certain number of times, they automatically refund the game for you. Honestly, bro, that would solve a lot of this. Brother, the entire development choice behind these games is to make it difficult. Use all the tools at your disposal to win. Well, I want a pause button. But brother, I see what you're saying, and logically it makes sense for them to have a pause button. Brother, From Software doesn't do pause buttons. Not in these games. They don't. They're not going to do it for you. They don't have to cater to you. I was like, well, then I'm not going to play. Then don't play it. That's literally the point. Don't play the game then. I'm sorry, bro. There is a community around these games. I'm sorry you get salty because the game that you literally can't get past the first boss wins Game of the Year. Its DLC gets nominated for Game of the Year. And then this developer makes Game of the Year Sekiro, Game of the Year nominee Dark Souls 3, Game of the Year nominee Bloodborne, Game of the Year, Best Action Game, Armored Core 6. There comes a point where you just have to be like, these games are not for me. Here would be the equivalent. Imagine if I played Donkey Kong Bonanza and I played it and I said, this game's absolutely terrible, mind-numbing garbage. It's so easy, dude. There's no level of difficulty. You would look me in the eyes and say, brother, play a different game. It's not for you. I am saying that to you now. If your main criticism of Elden Ring is it's too difficult, get good or get out. Literally just that. Well, then that's bad gameplay design. One game of the year. I rest my case. I'm sorry, bro. It's an Inferno take. People aren't going to like to hear that, but I'm sorry, bro. I get on the Get Good community when they get mad at people for using tools in the game. Other than that, completely valid. And there you go. Those are my hottest video game hot takes, okay? If you enjoyed this, if you disagree, please consider a like, comment, and subscribe. We are trying to get to 300,000 subscribers before the end of the year. And if you want to debate me on any of my takes, go in the comment section down below, and you can probably debate each other in the comment section. If you enjoyed this, we might be able to do a part 2. We have a bunch of other videos coming out this week. We've got different types of experimental content coming out as well. We're going to be doing a gym arc video in the next... we'll do a gym arc video. I'm feeling pretty good right now. It's got to get everything rigged up on that. And with all that out of the way, I will see you all in the next video. Adios, guys.